channel and welcome to the July book chat. Y'all, it is July 31st. We're 7 months into the year. The year is more than halfway over and my favorite season is about to happen. So I am excited about that and I'm excited about these reads for the month. And stick around to the end because I do have a couple of things to talk about what we're going to be doing on the channel for the rest of the year. So stick around for that. But let's get into this book chat. So this month we got 8 books in. So we're proud of that number. So the first book was or is called The Resort. It's by Sara, Ochs. So this one, Welcome to Paradise. We hope you survive your stay. There are 3 rules to follow during a vacation at the famous Koh Sang Resort. Leave the past behind. Always be careful who you trust. And if someone discovers who you really are, run. So that's just a quick little synopsis of what this book was about. So I actually really did like this book. I will say the book was kind of slow in a way. So the book actually starts with action. So it starts with the action that is basically kicking off all of like this, okay, what's going on the island, who's out to get me type of situation. So it does start with action, but the build is a little slow, and then when it gets closer to the end, it revs up. Here is where I have an issue. The reason a lot of this started, in my opinion, did not make sense. Like, it was almost as, and the character actually pretty much kind of says this, I blame you for what happened to me because the other person is more powerful and I can't get to them. And it's kind of like, okay, so the person who actually did you wrong, you're going to let them slide because it's too much work and you're going to like literally go after somebody who, when I read it, I don't really feel what they did was intentional. I think they were young and they were stupid, but there wasn't like they had exact knowledge that the thing occurred. So it's kind of like you started all of this because you were just too weak to actually go after the person who harmed you. Now here's the other part. This book opens up, and let me tell you, every single person, this thing is like when they find out who you are, because it actually says like in the full synopsis that basically everybody on this island has a past and a secret. When those secrets start to unfold, like, good God, like I was just like, y'all basically, yeah, like everybody had a thing that they were running from. I did like the ending because the way it wrapped up, at first I was like, oh dang, but then I was like, oh dang. Like it does wrap up on a twist, so I did like that. There was a part that I didn't like, I'm not gonna give it away. I was like, I don't feel like it should have went down like that. But overall, I did think the book was pretty cool. Now the next book that I read, y'all already, I don't know where to put these. Y'all already know it was 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. It is the 3rd book in the Thursday Murder Club mystery series by Richard Osman. Just a little blurb. It is an ordinary Thursday and things should finally be returning to normal, except trouble is never far away where the Thursday Murder Club are concerned. A decadal case, their favorite crime, leads them to a local news legend and a murder with no body and no answers. There was definitely a lot of twists and turns in this one, a lot of love, and I do like love sprinkled into a good mystery or thriller. And of course, you get this fun team doing what they do. Like the book, it's just incredibly funny how, like, when it comes to these murders and these mysteries, they're just kind of like, I got this. And just breaking all kind of rules and doing it in their fabulousness. So I absolutely love this book. I love the series. Start with the first one. I have the 4th one. I'm not ready. Like it's somewhere down here. I'm not ready because it's the last one that he has out right now. So I need him to put another one out because when I finish that one, I need the next book because I love these people. So that's book number 2. Number 3, The New Couple in 5B. This one is by Lisa Unger, and a little blurb. A couple inherits an apartment with a spine-tingling past in this haunting and propulsive thriller. First of all, if if you already got inklings that something about a place ain't right, why are you there? Like, I don't understand. I'm not going to think a place is haunted and be like, but I'm going to move in anyway. I'm not going to think, oh, this is weird, and still move in. And when I tell you, some people in this building, they was going for the jugular. I mean, just cutthroat business. So it goes back and forth between a story of the past and the story of the present, and basically talks about kind of like the similarities and what happened there. And when you find out, because now I'm remembering, when you find out who like one of the people was from the past and how they play into the future, it's pretty ridiculous. But like some of the reasons people was down for the cause, it's like, that's not enough for me to be down for this cause. Like, they was just wreaking havoc over the dumbest thing. And I get legacy, I get all of that, but really though? So this song was it was kind of in the middle. It was a cool read, but you know, it was just kind of like Lifetime, but like a little more elevated when you watch the Lifetime movie with like ghosts and stuff like that. So this one here is called An Honest Lie by Tarryn Fisher. This one, Lorraine Rainey lives at the top of Tiger Mountain, remote, moody, cloistered in pine trees and fog. It's a sanctuary, a new life. She can hide from this disturbing past she wants to forget. So when I say I read this, when I started reading this book, I just didn't. Okay, so this book is about a girl who moves to DC, or not DC, Washington State. She's pretty much escaping, I believe it's Washington, escaping like New York. She meets this guy, blah, blah, blah. She's getting in good with the friends or whatever. The friends have opinions about her. And, you know, she's just trying to find her place in that group. So they go to Vegas, but she don't want to go to Vegas because of her past. I will say the story of her past was much more like suspenseful than how they tied it into the future, because it just seemed really out of left field. I was not that big of a fan. I picked this one up because she did, when I believe it was, what's her name? Let me see if I can, like, find her book. Stacey Willingham. When Stacey Willingham released her newest book, she was, like, one of the authors doing, like, the book talk. So I was like, oh, let me, read her book or whatever. But it just is very disconnected. Like I said, I feel like the story of her past was more exciting and thrilling. And when I was reading those parts of the book, I was more interested. And then when they tied it into how the past collided with the future, and like the randomness of the other person, that like, because at the end of the little blurb it says, and then Rainey gets the text message sent from Braith's phone. Someone has her, but Rainey is who they really want, and Rainey knows why. Like, the reason the person connect, it is just like, yeah. So, I guess. Then we get into First Lie Wins. Now, First Lie Wins is by Ashley Elston. This is one that was really popular. A lot of people were talking about it. I picked it up because somebody was like, no, you need to read it. And this one, to me, is more of a mystery than a thriller. Like, I don't feel like there was any part where maybe like one moment where I was like, oh my gosh, is that really what's going on? But it was really kind of like she's trying to figure out. So she's basically let me see if it says this before I say this. Okay, let me read this so I don't give anything away. The identity comes first, Evie Porter. Once she's given a name and a location by her mysterious boss, Mr. Smith, she learns everything there is to know about the town and the people in it. Then the mark. Okay, so yeah, she's a con artist, basically. That's what I wanted to make sure, like, was that in there? But basically, she's trying to figure out, she messed up on, like, her previous, like, one of her cons. And she's basically in this con, but she doesn't know what the end game is. And things start happening to where it's like, wait a minute, am I the mark? Or are they the mark? Like, trying to figure all of that out. Who's actually in on this con? All of that kind of stuff. So it's really just her trying to figure out what the end game is to the current situation and kind of pretty much get herself out, I guess. The ending is kind of cool. It does end where I'm like, okay, that's what you're gonna do. But I thought it was okay. Like, I think it had a little more hype than it delivered on, but I don't think it was bad. It was just okay. The next one, now we're getting into, let me change this to this. I feel like we're getting into, outside of The Bullet That Missed, I feel like these last 3 books that I read for the month were the most exciting. And yes, we got another hyped up book, The Silent Patient by Michaelides. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But I understand why people like this book, because I was into it, and at the end, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because, first of all, why? Like, if you've read this book, why even put yourself in the mix? Like, if I were me, I would just stay away. Like, you did all of that just to do what you did. Like, just move on and mind your business. Like, that's the part I don't understand. I do like the way that it ended. In some ways, I did find myself gasping. I did find myself like, oh, dang. I actually really did enjoy this book. So if you've heard a lot about The Silent Patient, basically, let me give you a little rundown. Elisa Berenson's life is seemingly perfect until one night when her husband Gabriel returns home late from work, and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. So basically, she hasn't talked for like 10 years. There's new therapists trying to come in, figure out what's going on. I'm not gonna give away what happens at all, but like, I just like, why? Like, people like to invite extra drama when you could have just stayed your ass like away and let it go. But anyway, I do recommend that one. And then the next one I read was Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Now, I think Lisa Jewell got an issue with churn. Like, I think she really has an issue with kids because she be dragging these kids through the most. Like, I've only read one other book by her, and after I read that book, I was like, okay, you wound me up to just fail with the delivery. And the amount of stuff that happened to children in that book, I was like, yeah, I'm good on you. But someone did say that Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell was actually good, and I agree. But why do you put the kids through so much shit? Like, I just don't understand your issue. So basically, no one ever just disappears. Ellie Mack was the perfect daughter, and then she was gone. 10 years after Ellie's disappearance, her mother, Laurel Mack, is trying to put her life back together when she meets an unexpectedly charming man in a cafe. Before she knows it, she's meeting Floyd's daughter, and his youngest daughter, Poppy, takes Laurel's breath away because the early precocious Poppy is a splitting image of Ellie. Leaving it at that. One of the characters in this book was just baddie as hell. Like, it just didn't make sense why they would go through what they went through, but I enjoyed reading the book. I wasn't the biggest fan of how it ended because I was like, oh, I don't like that. But there were parts of the ending that was good, so I do recommend that one. And that one actually made me like gas because I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels by Janice Hallett. I actually finished this one this morning. This one was very, very different. So this book is basically about this girl who's brought into this cult with another teenage boy. She has this baby, and they're convincing her that this baby is the Antichrist. And basically, it's years later, and this author is trying to figure out the actual, like, where the baby is now, because now the baby is 18 years old, everything like that. This book is a big ass mystery, and it is not what it seems. So I do recommend this one. Like, this one I was interested in. I don't know why people always try to put themselves in the middle of stuff and try to be a hero, because I'm gonna say that, like, sometimes you just need to sit on the sidelines. That is not your ministry. You are not a trained professional. Sit your ass down. But anyway, I enjoyed this book because, like, I'm not gonna go, yeah. I enjoyed this book. The ending is definitely not what I expected. The whole mystery is not what I expected. But what's unique about this one, it is written all in emails, all in interviews, text messages, WhatsApp messages. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to really get the effect of the story, like reading a book. But they do such a good job. You do feel like you're actually just reading the book. There were some times when I got lost, But overall, like, it has clues pretty much in everything you read. I enjoyed it. So I would definitely say read this one. So those are the 8 books that I read this month. We did have some really, really good ones. We have some that were okay. But overall, we enjoyed the reading experience for July. So we're about to go into August. And one thing I want to say, I did again this month what I did last month, which was I did a number generator and I let the number generator pick the books that I was going to read. So it is taking me a little bit out of my read every single book in order. Now I pick the books with the number generator and I pretty much read in that order, but it's okay. It's getting me, like, letting me pull some books that might be at the bottom of my TBR. So I am going to do that again this month because I did enjoy that. I'm still doing my timer. I will say that because I did the timer of, and if you saw my last video, I was trying to, like, I talk about different tips to help me read more. Because I did it all of June and like the beginning of July, I find myself just making that dedicated time to read because I've already realized you have the time in the day. So I would recommend, if you're struggling, set yourself a timer of the minimum hours you want to read. And after that, you get back into the routine. I feel like you'll be good to go. Your mind's like, nope, let me get in my time. And that has been helping me get through my books. Also, not being afraid to read multiple books at a time. Typically, I might start another book if a book's a little slow. So, like, the Alperton Angels was a little slow for me to start and just getting into the format of the book. But I started another book as well, so I didn't feel like I had to fight through it. And then once I get into the book, I almost don't go back to that other book until, like, I finish this one. So that also helps. And, you know, just finding other creative ways for you to get through, not get through, but to read your books. And if you are, like, reading a book where you don't want to, like, stop reading it, but you need a little push through, pick up another book so you have something that where you can take a break, go to the other one, and maybe in that book that you're, like, struggling, if you want to keep reading it. I don't give up on a book because I'm like, it could get better. Sometimes it don't, but as long as I have that other book, maybe I'll say, okay, I'm going to read 20 pages of the book that I haven't gotten into as much, and then I'm going to go back to this other book that might be more intriguing and pulling me in. So I'm still getting through the other book, but it's not like I have to finish this one before I get to move on. So it's not like, you don't punish yourself. You're like, I'm going to read 20 pages here, but I'm going to get in this other book that I already picked up. So that's another tip. I am definitely going to do the number generator again, but I'm not going to include any of the newer books. So after this one, you will be seeing, like, another book haul, over 20 books. So I want to try to get through, like, these books here on up to here, and including these ones, but I'm holding off on the Housemaid series because I'm going to do, like, a reading vlog on that series. But, like, I want to get through these books here and all the way down right above to, like, sign here, because these ones I've had on my shelf, my TBR, for the longest. And then everything pretty much in these last 2 shelves right here in the 5 books that I just bought, I want to read those ones later. So I'm going to use the number generator to include these books in hopes of getting through those older books on my TBR, because yes, the newer books I'm reading are exciting, but I don't want to forget the things that have been there for a while. So I want to work through that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But I'm talking so much, y'all. But let's talk about the schedule for the rest of the year. Like I said, we are about to go to my favorite season. It is fall. And I've actually been doing really good and posting. And I have, like, a lot of videos to share with you all. So, you know, September is coming up. So in the month of September, I am actually going to pilot. I'm going to test out posting 2 videos a week every other week. So it's going to be like a 2-1-2-1 in September. And if, you know, I feel like I can keep up with it, then maybe I will continue that schedule even after September, and go to like a 2-1-2-1 schedule. I don't want to overwhelm myself with posting, but I have been, you know, getting a lot of content for you guys out, and I have all this stuff in the queue, so I might do that because I don't want it to get old. Like, I want the stuff to be, you know, not like weeks and weeks later. So the other thing is October is around the corner. Last year I did a Booktober where I was reading the Twisted Tales series by Disney. I still have like 5 books in there. So in the month of October, it's going to be a little bit of Booktober, a little bit of Vlogtober. You're going to get a little bit of everything. So I'm actually going to, in October, be posting twice a week. So it could be like just a vlog, or it could be like a haul on Tuesdays. And then on Fridays, you would have like that book video, which will more than likely be a reading vlog. So I think I'm going to do in the month of October for Booktober reading vlog. So that's what we have for October. In November, we're going to do the 2-1-2-1 schedule that I'm going to do in September, if that is successful and not overwhelming. And then in December, we're going to have Vlogmas. So yeah, tons of things happening on the channel. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Why am I yelling? Hope you guys enjoyed this book chat. And let me know if you've read any of these or any of these on your list. What is on your TBR for next month? I want to know what you're reading. And, you know, for those of you who are new, my name is Sara. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are returning and you're already a part of the family, thank you so much for coming back. I do appreciate you guys. You guys. I'll see you in the next one.